as I said, there are political barbecues at the Stampede also. So pancake breakfast, and then it's barbecues in the evening, and they're held as fundraisers for the political parties. That's where Poilievre was speaking. And he called out the legal and illegal mass immigration to Canada at the Conservative barbecue.
And we will put Canada first in everything that we do, and that includes immigration. Look, we're a welcoming country, but the latest news that the Liberals allowed 17,500 foreign criminals to enter our country by sponging their prior criminal records is just the latest example in the radical, liberal, failed experiment with open borders. And Mark Carney refuses to deport any of these individuals, nor has he changed any of the radical immigration targets that Justin Trudeau left behind. Our housing, our health care, our jobs are overwhelmed. Our young people are cast aside while low-paid temporary foreign workers take their jobs. We must end the abuse in the temporary foreign worker program, the international student program, the refugee system, and we must restore an immigration system that puts our country and its people first. We reject the radical Century Initiative, which Liberals have endorsed, saying that they want to bring our population to 100 million people over this century. Look, we don't blame people for wanting to come here. Almost all of us trace our lineage back to immigrants, other than our First Peoples. But that immigration must be controlled. It must be in numbers that we can absorb. It must be the right people at the right pace that will allow us to succeed as Canadians and integrate and be one united country.
And you know, Sheila, this kind of common sense is yet another reason why for the last 2+ months, I wake up every morning going, I can't believe the Liberals are still in power. I know there was a whole, unfortunate series of events, coincidences, timing and whatnot. But, it wasn't that absolutely spot on. And, shame on the Liberals for being so untransparent that 17,600 criminal records of migrants were expunged. At the same time, you have peaceful counter-demonstrators to pro-Hamas rallies, independent journalists being arrested, right?
Tamara Leach has a criminal record now for what? The honkening? And as I said, when I was discussing this with Lise last week about those criminal records being expunged, how much, because they're not giving us a lot of details on like the makeup of those criminal records. Of course, we don't want their names and stuff, but like tell us, like how many are assault, how many are bar fights and weed convictions. I believe that it is very few of those. If someone were to say to me, Sheila, this man is a trucker. He's from the United States. He has an assault conviction from when he was 18. He's otherwise lived a good life. Should he be allowed to enter into Canada? 100%. Completely. I believe that wholeheartedly. I believe in redemption. I think both countries are too hard on those sorts of people, but not hard enough on, I don't know, maybe ISIS terrorists who were in ISIS video beheading somebody and then were given Canadian citizenship to only go on to plan another terror attack. Those people are getting into the country, but the trucker isn't. And I have a problem with both the Americans and the Canadians on this issue. They don't allow for any sort of redemption, and then the process is too difficult for those people to overcome to even deal with it. And yet we've got these bad people from failed states having their records expunged to come into Canada.
Oh, Sheila, I think you forgot one of the most blatant examples that has little to do with redemption and more to do with rewarding, and that was Justin Trudeau's 2016 Lotto Max gift to our homegrown Al-Qaeda terrorist, Omar Khadr, who killed a U.S. serviceman, partially blinded another, and for what? Hurt feelings? And the ostensible policy reason, pardon me?
It was sleeplessness.
Yeah. And I mean, and to think, and what I found really appalling about that, where it was the Liberals at the time, if you recall, Sheila, was if we were to fight this in court, it would be way more than 10.5 million. First of all, I have a hard time believing that. Secondly, all of a sudden, the Liberal Party of Canada are fiscal conservatives.
Right. Also, I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. It costs a lot of money. Costs a lot of money to put Clifford Olson in jail too.
Yeah.
But I think it was money well spent. We've also got another clip of Poilievre at the Calgary Stampede, saying that he will legitimize the demands of Western Canada to end our unfair treatment at the hands of the federal government and the Laurentian Liberals.
And let me tell you, we are going to fight for our province again. We'll fight for oil and gas, for farmers, for low taxes, for decentralization, a stronger military, and a smaller federal government so that we can have a bigger Alberta. And if elected in Battle River Crowfoot, I'll use the platform of Leader of the Opposition to amplify the legitimate demands of Western Canada to end the unfair treatment. The era of Ottawa telling Alberta to pay up and shut up must end once and for all. And let me tell you.
Yeah, you won't hear that out of Mark Carney's lips.
No. Although Poilievre has to say these things very loudly, because he's running in Battle River Crowfoot, one of the most conservative places on, I think, the face of the earth. And, you know, he of course is going to win that riding. He just absolutely is. But yeah, he's an Albertan again. He was an Albertan before. He's from Calgary. He's an Albertan again. And I think the federal Conservatives, of course, they're always the ones who are talking about Western fairness in the federal government, but he's got to be louder than ever, because these are once again his issues.
And by the way, you're right. That should be a slam dunk. Although in politics, never say the cat is out of the bag, because when you say that, the cat does get out of the bag. Yeah. Typically, you know, people are busy, you know, taking the kids to soccer practice. Oh, you know, it's in the bag, so I don't need to show up and cast my vote. I hope that kind of, you know, attitude doesn't set in, but he should win that handily. But I understand, Sheila, isn't that group whose name I forget, the ones that like to stack the ballot with so many candidates? I think in Pierre Poilievre's own riding, it was like 84, 91 candidates. I heard something that they're pledging to put 200
sure
people.
They are. Pardon me? They are. Sure they are, and good luck to them. The problem is that they underestimate the mind of the Albertan.
Yeah.
In that they were counting on urban liberals or urban centrists to get fatigued and just put a check mark beside somebody's name on the ballot in Carleton. That won't happen in Alberta. We're not scared of hard work. Like, we're not going to get tired of looking down the ballot to find the P and putting a check mark. That's not us. And if you think that we're going to fall victim to that, have you ever met an Albertan? Like, we're not scared of hard work, and looking down a ballot isn't hard work for us. And I think it might have worked in some parts of the Carleton riding. It ain't going to work here. So they can try, they can waste their resources, they can waste their time. It is voter interference.
It is
100%. And they can cry about democracy and election integrity, but they're the ones damaging it. They can do all of that, but it's just not going to work here. It won't.
No, you're 100% right, Sheila.